but about 3 years ago, police raided First Street. So they came into my apartment, took me out half naked in front of my kids. My kids are right there. And some people, they around about 50 females. People, grandmothers, aunts, daughters, and we're all in one cell. And they say the reason why they came and got me because I had a New Jersey transit ticket from 5 years ago that I didn't pay. Somebody's grandmother that was in the same cell with me, she was from Africa. They locked her up because 30 years ago, somebody used her license, her car in her name, and she wasn't aware of. But the main reason the cops rounded us up because there was a murder they was trying to solve, and they wasn't getting any leeway. So I'm saying all this to say that, but I was traumatized, and I'm sure my kids were traumatized as well. I mean, they took my boyfriend, my husband out too, half naked, because he wasn't gonna let me go alone. It's just, it's not even the use of force. I mean, it's really police brutality. It's guards people. Like, my kids had to see me dragged out early in the morning. They were screaming and crying. They did not process it down. But I think the way trauma works, it catches up to you later on in life. And you don't understand why you're doing the things you're doing, or why these things are happening to you. But yeah, something needs to be done. And that bill, what is it? If the cops kill somebody, they do an independent investigation, it shouldn't have to wait for that.
That's right.
Because we're traumatized every day. We have to deal with the police every day. Our kids have to see us deal with the police every day. And they have to grow up dealing with the police. I mean, enough is enough. I mean, I don't think there's enough bills we can pass. Like that gentleman said, they need to be held accountable. They need to lose their jobs, or they need to lose somebody in their family. Because enough is enough. You shouldn't have to deal with this. That's it.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. The first time I had an altercation with the police, I think I was about 16 or 17. I was at DMV, and I went to get an ID, and I think my birth certificate was kind of ripped. It was old, and it kind of run down. And the clerk wouldn't take it. The lady at the table wouldn't take it. I had to have all those 6 points. So we got into a confrontation back and forth, and she called the police. And when the cop got there, I was like 16, 17. But at that point in my life, I always heard people say like, man, F the police, F the police. I never really understood why they said that. I just knew like everybody hated the police in the hood, but I really didn't know why. He grabbed me, threw me against the wall, and then he took his boot and stomped on my calf. And the skin peeled off my leg. You could still see the scar still right there on my foot. For the rest of my life, I will never forget that. And when he did that, in the back of my mind, I was thinking like, how can he do this? Like, where's his humanity at? He's supposed to be a cop. Like, how can you push me up against the wall and just do that and everybody here is okay with it? And like, in the back, like, I just kept thinking about that. But that was my first time really confronting the police. Another time, I was laying on the floor. They had me in front of my mother's house. They was looking for somebody. And they had me dead on the floor. And the cop kicked me in the back of my head. And my skin scraped off right here on top of my lip. That scar is still there. And all those moments just kept in the back of my mind. I always questioned, like, how can the police do this? They're supposed to protect and serve. You know, they were always the good guys in the movies. Like, it was bugging me. And every altercation I had after that, even when I went to prison, and I saw them drop an oxygen tank on this old man's head that needed oxygen. I was looking out my cell door, and I saw them come over there. They were supposed to be helping him. And the CEO dropped the oxygen tank on his head. And he died. Nobody ever asked a question. Nothing was ever done. None of that. When I walked out of prison, I went back to school. I said, what subject am I going to take that's going to teach me about the world? I don't care about money. I went into social. Out of prison, I went back to school. I said, what subject am I going to take that's going to teach me about the world? I don't care about money. I I went into sociology and history. The institutions are the problem. It is all police are corrupt. Because, like all police are corrupt, there's no good cops. The institution criminalizes black people for money. They use our bodies to make money. So it starts to make sense to me now. You can be a good person, a good child that's raised by your parents, and you're sent into this institution to go get a job. And they brainwash to think us that pay your tax, your bills, that pay for you to be a police officer, a fireman, a correctional officer. They look at us like we're nothing. They don't teach them in the academy. They work for us. They teach them that they work for a bureaucratic system, that the person that got the that your boss is their leader, that's what they need to listen to. So no matter what happens when they come, they all lie. They lie right in front of you with the camera on. They came back and talk about camera. The camera be right there. Last week, I got a video on Facebook that got 10,000 views. The police broke tickets with a judge, accompanied by a judge. And the judge was lying, saying we couldn't record, like we don't know the law. But my family's not the regular family. We are all revolutionaries. Come on, and whoever's a revolutionary, down to your youngest child, should be a revolutionary. Nelson Mandela said, he said, I read somewhere, he said, like my mother came to me and told me, like, don't worry about these white people, they're good people. And he said he started thinking in the back of his mind, like, if I don't even have my house under control, how can I lead anybody else? So he had to go teach his own house how to be revolutionaries. The time for talking is over. Like that, just like the sister said earlier. We have to stop talking. It's been 50, 100 years of the same kind of treatment. I went back to school. I forced myself to go back to school and learn and read through all the history pages of what's going on in the community. And no police is good. The system is corrupt and they use us to pay the bills of the people that work for the city. That's the story of the police department. They don't bring justice. The correctional facilities don't correct nothing. I've been there. You don't go to school. I had to pay to go to school when I was in prison. My mama sent me books from a college, some college, I went Penn Foster. And I took my test and I sent it to them and they sent me my grades back.